Right now, someone is making a decision they think is completely their own. They believe they chose it freely. They believe it makes sense. But they were led there, step by step, by a technique so old it predates written history. And here is the uncomfortable part. You have probably already fallen for it today. There is a specific psychological move that cult leaders have used for centuries to take ordinary, intelligent people and turn them into true believers. It does not involve drugs. It does not require weakness. And it does not only live inside cults. It lives inside your favorite app, your workplace, your closest relationships. And by the end of this video, you will never look at those places the same way again. But first, let me ask you a question that I want you to hold in the back of your mind the entire time you watch this. We will come back to it at the end. The answer might genuinely surprise you. When was the last time you made a decision that was completely 100% your own? Here is something that historians keep discovering again and again across completely unconnected ancient civilizations. Whether you look at Egyptian temples, Greek mystery cults, or early Mayan religious orders, the psychological playbook is almost identical. That is not a coincidence. That is proof that these tactics work on the human brain at a level that runs deeper than culture, language, or era. The core trick has a name in modern psychology. It is called incremental commitment, but the old world did not need a name for it. They just knew that if you could get someone to take a small step towards you, any small step, the next step became easier, and the one after that. And eventually, the person is walking willingly in a direction they never would have chosen at the start. Think of it like this. You would never agree to give a stranger $50, but you might agree to sign a harmless petition. And once you have signed it, you have told yourself a story about who you are, someone who cares about this cause. Now, when they ask for a small donation, your brain works hard to stay consistent with that story. Because the most powerful force in human psychology is not fear. It is the need to not be a hypocrite in your own mind. But here's where things get interesting, because incremental commitment is only the entry point. The real power comes from what cult leaders layer on top of it. Once someone has taken that first step, signed up, shown up, agreed to something small, the cult leader's next move is to construct what researchers call an information environment. A fancy term for something devastatingly simple. They control what you see, hear, and think about. This does not always look like locking people in a compound. In fact, the most effective versions are completely invisible. A leader might start by subtly discrediting outside voices. Your old friends do not understand you like we do. The media lies, but we tell the truth. Your family loves you, but they are holding you back. None of this sounds like control in the moment. It sounds like someone who cares about you. What is actually happening is that the outside world is slowly being dimmed, like someone turning down a light so gradually you never notice the room getting darker. By the time you realize how dark it has gotten, the group has become your primary source of validation, information, and identity. Leaving stops feeling like freedom, it starts feeling like loss. And this is where most people make a mistake when they analyze cult psychology. They think it is about stupid people being fooled by obvious lies. But the research shows the opposite. Cult leaders specifically target intelligent, idealistic, curious people, because those are the people most likely to be searching for meaning, and most likely to rationalize their way into staying once they are in. There is a specific tactic that almost every documented cult has used in the early recruitment phase, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It is called love bombing, and it is exactly what it sounds like. When a new person enters the orbit of a cult, or a cult-like leader, they are immediately flooded with warmth, attention, and belonging. People are excited to meet them. They are told they are special, that they found this group for a reason, that something in them recognizes the truth. It feels incredible, genuinely incredible, because human beings are wired for belonging. We spent most of our evolution in small tribes where being accepted literally meant survival. So when that acceptance arrives at full force, the brain does not pump the brakes. It pumps the gas, dopamine floods in, oxytocin, the bonding chemical, goes to work, and the person begins to associate the group with one of the most powerful emotional experiences of their life. That association does not disappear when the love bombing phase ends and the demands begin. The memory of that feeling keeps people loyal long after the warmth has been replaced with control. Now this next part might surprise you, because love bombing is not confined to cults. Go look at the onboarding experience of any successful consumer app. The confetti animations when you complete a task, the enthusiastic congratulations for the smallest action. The feeling that the product really gets you. That is not UX design. That is love bombing with a logo. We have this cultural assumption that falling for psychological manipulation tactics is a sign of low intelligence, that if you are smart enough, you are immune. This assumption is wrong in a way that actually makes intelligent people more vulnerable, not less. Here is why. Smart people are confident in their reasoning. They trust their own judgment. So when a skilled manipulator introduces an idea, a smart person does not reject it outright. They engage with it, analyze it, look for the flaws. And a good cult leader knows how to structure arguments so that the more you engage, the more reasonable the idea seems. The smart person is not being tricked into believing something stupid. They are being led through a logical-looking path that ends somewhere they never intended to go. There is also something called the sophistication trap. Intelligent people often believe that, because they understand how manipulation works in theory, they are protected from it in practice. But understanding how a magic trick works does not mean you cannot be surprised by a good one. The brain's emotional responses happen faster than conscious reasoning. By the time your rational mind shows up to check the math, the emotional conclusion has already been filed. Researchers who have studied cult indoctrination methods consistently find that critical thinking skills are not the defense people think they are. Emotional self-awareness is knowing when you feel rushed, when someone wants an immediate commitment, when belonging feels like it comes with invisible strings. That is the real protection. Before psychology gave these tactics their clinical names, they existed in ritual. Ancient mystery cults, the Greek Eleusinian mysteries, the Roman Mithraic orders, and dozens of others across history all used the same structural framework, and it maps almost perfectly onto what modern cult leaders do. Step 1 was always separation. The initiate was removed from their normal environment, sometimes physically, always psychologically. The familiar was made unfamiliar. The goal was to create a state of openness, a kind of psychological blank slate where new ideas could be written in. Step 2 was ordeals. The initiate went through a difficult experience: fasting, isolation, physical challenge. This was not about cruelty, it was about commitment. The human mind assigns value to things based on how much we sacrifice for them. If getting into the group cost you something real, the group must be worth something real. It is the same reason people who go through difficult initiations report stronger group loyalty than those who just show up and join. Step 3 was revelation. After the ordeal, the initiate was given secret knowledge, something that outsiders did not know. This is the genius move, because now the person's identity is built around being someone who knows. And people will protect their identity with ferocity. Leaving the group means giving up the knowledge, the status, and the self-image that came with it. So why does this matter? Because every one of those 3 steps is alive in modern life. You see separation in echo chambers. You see ordeals in elite application processes and exclusive waiting lists. You see revelation in subscription newsletters that promise insider knowledge only paying members receive. There is a concept in behavioral psychology called sunk cost escalation, and it is one of the most powerful forces keeping people inside manipulative systems long after the red flags have appeared. The idea is simple: the more you have invested in something, time, money, identity, relationships, the harder it becomes to walk away, even when walking away is the rational choice. Cult leaders understand this intuitively. They do not ask for everything up front, they ask for small things consistently, over time: your weekends, your friendships, your old hobbies, your professional network outside the group. Each sacrifice feels manageable in the moment, but the cumulative investment becomes a psychological anchor that keeps you in place. The most haunting examples come from exit interviews with former cult members. Almost universally, they describe a moment, sometimes years before they left, where they saw something clearly wrong. And then they made a calculation, often without realizing they were doing it. Acknowledging the truth would mean admitting that everything they had sacrificed was wasted. So the brain, which hates waste more than it loves truth, found a way to explain away what they saw. This is not weakness, this is a fundamental feature of human psychology. And understanding it, really sitting with it, is the beginning of actual protection against it. One of the most consistent tools across every documented case of cult leader manipulation tactics is what sociologists call loaded language. Every group develops it. A private vocabulary of terms, phrases, and concepts that carry specific meaning inside the group and are meaningless or incomprehensible outside it. On the surface, this looks like jargon, but it functions like a cognitive cage. When your entire inner world is described using language that outsiders cannot access, communication with those outsiders becomes genuinely difficult. It is not that you do not want to explain. It is that the concepts you are using have no equivalent in normal conversation. And that isolation reinforces the belief that only people inside the group can truly understand what you are experiencing. Loaded language also short-circuits critical thinking in real time. When a complex, potentially troubling question arises, the trained response is to reach for a phrase, a thought-terminating cliché that closes the inquiry before it can go anywhere uncomfortable. Every major cult has these. Once you know what to look for, you start hearing them everywhere. Here's where we have to get honest about something that is uncomfortable. The psychological manipulation techniques used by cult leaders did not stay inside fringe religious movements. They were studied, refined, and industrialized. And today they are running at scale across nearly every system that wants your attention, your loyalty, or your money. Political movements use loaded language and enemy narratives to build in-group identity. Social media platforms engineer incremental commitment through notifications, streaks, and social validation loops. Brands use love bombing in loyalty programs and VIP communities. Workplaces manufacture manufactured urgency and selective belonging to keep people overcommitted and underprotected. None of this is an accident. Some of it is deliberate. Some of it is just the emergent result of optimizing for engagement without ever asking what engagement is doing to the people being engaged. But the impact is the same either way. You are right now living inside multiple systems that were designed using the same psychological principles that built the most controlling movements in human history. The difference is that knowing this gives you something cult members rarely have, a moment of clear sight before the next step is taken. After all the research, all the exit interviews, all the psychological analysis, there is one characteristic that consistently shows up in people who recognize the manipulation early and got out, or who never got pulled in to begin with. It is not intelligence, it is not education, it is the ability to tolerate uncertainty without reaching for belonging. People who can sit with not knowing, who do not need the group to give them an identity, who can be in a room full of true believers and still hold a private question. Those are the people who stay free. Not because they are smarter, but because they are less desperate for resolution. The manipulation always moves fastest when someone is searching for certainty. Slow that search down, and the tactics lose most of their grip. The ancient trick is not really about cults. It never was. It is about the way the human brain, under certain pressures, will hand over its autonomy without ever realizing it made the trade. So here is your answer to the question I asked at the very start. When was the last time you made a decision that was completely 100% your own? The honest answer is, probably never. And that is not a failure. That is being human. But there is a massive difference between being influenced and being controlled, and that difference lives in whether or not you can see it happening. The moment you can see it, the trick stops working. If this made you think differently about the systems around you, there is a video right here that goes deeper into how social media platforms specifically use these same tactics to rewire behavior. It connects directly to everything we just covered. And if you found value in this one, a like helps this reach people who actually need to hear it.